Let me start off by saying that I am a huge Teen Titans fan, so before some of you say that I'm being too biased towards that old TV show, I should point out that if it wasn't for that show, the Teen Titans would be nothing. Back in the old days, Marvel and DC were trying to reach their teenage market. Whilst Marvel were already a smash hit with comics like the X-Men and Spider-Man, DC gave us Teen Titans and it was anything but a success. It got a revamped comic much later which was more successful, but still, it didn't reach the height of popularity that DC wanted, and these heroes weren't going to make any headlines with mainstream audiences. It was the Cartoon Network TV show, however, that practically reinvented each of the characters and gave them so much personality that they all blasted off to stardom. All of a sudden, these characters that originally looked very dull and boring were given striking new designs, distinct personalities, and fantastic storylines. It was unbelievable how the creative team were able to take these normal sidekick characters and make them so good that you didn't even care to see the adult superheroes, such as Batman and Superman, etc. They were unbelievably carrying the whole show on their own. And like I said earlier, it is because of this show that the Teen Titans were suddenly relevant for both fans and DC Comics. Despite this, the show got cancelled during season 5, and Warner Brothers and DC have just continued to misuse the license by giving them inferior portrayals in comics, some shitty animated movies, and the worst of all,
Teen Titans! The legs are gone!
Now, instead of bringing back the original show, which is what we all want, Warner Brothers have decided to make a live-action TV series simply called Titans. And instead of being selectively and strategically dark, this show is just dark. Like, it looks like Warner Brothers looked at Marvel's Daredevil TV show and said, we want to make a show like that. So yeah, let me get this out of the way. If you couldn't tell, I downright despise this trailer. The first biggest problem to me was Raven. She doesn't look like a spooky and eerily calm teenage girl, she just comes off as a ripoff of young, inexperienced Jean Grey from X-Men Apocalypse. And that's not what makes Raven so engaging as a young superhero. Raven is one of those characters who has all the reasons to be scared, but somehow manages to suppress her emotions to not only keep her evil demonic father at bay, but to also control her powers as they are fueled on her emotions. Observe, this is how Raven in the animated show talks.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I am afraid. I'm afraid, but that doesn't mean I can't fight back.
And this is how she talks in the live action show.
Everything led me here. To you. You're the boy from the circus. Please, can you help me? There's something evil inside of me.
Look, the bottom line is that Raven should not be this generically vulnerable and open with her feelings. It makes her seem like a character from a crappy young adult novel, and the ridiculously out of place and garbage song in this trailer just made that even more apparent. Also, the graphic blood and murderous violence in this is just wrong. These superheroes don't kill, especially Robin. Now, his costume looks amazing. We don't get to see a full shot of it in this trailer, but from what we do see, and going by what we saw in the promotional images, it looks fantastic. Like, if it is really as good as it looks in this picture, then this would be film-worthy. They also tried to throw in a reference to Batman Begins by having Robin throw his signature logo at a wall. And as for Starfire, she looks bloody terrible. Corey from Double Toasted said it best. She looks like a fiery Beyonce, and they really shouldn't have cast a black woman for this role. Casting black actors in white roles is fine in the case of someone like Iris West in The Flash, the reason being because the majority of mainstream audiences have never seen the character before, so naturally they are open to a change in the character's live action appearance. It's actually a smart way of casting someone of a different colour, but in Starfire's case, you don't cast someone of a different colour when the character is this well known. That's a mistake that the Fantastic Four remake made, despite the fact that the character was definitively established as white in both movies and cartoons. The whole point of portraying characters in a movie or TV show is to give the most accurate visual interpretation of said character from their respected source material, and this looks nothing like Starfire. On a scale of 1 to 10, this would get a 1. Even her powers look like some generic effect you would get on a TV show. She doesn't shoot fire, she shoots green star balls. But for some reason, they completely ignored her iconic design. And what the hell is going on with her hair? It looks like it was inspired by
a French poodle.
Now, we haven't seen enough of Beast Boy, so all I can say at this point is that the makeup is fine, but his face doesn't resemble the character in the slightest. But the jury's still out on him until we see more. As for our next hero, we don't get Cyborg, instead we get Hawk and Dove. Cyborg is now a member of the Justice League, so DC and Warner Brothers don't want to make him a sidekick anymore. But this is what pisses me off. Cyborg would have been nothing if it wasn't for the original Teen Titans show, so if anything, DC owes the popularity of Cyborg to Teen Titans. So that means that Teen Titans should get priority over him rather than the Justice League, because unlike the Justice League, the team isn't the same without him. But no, instead we get Hawk and Dove, and Dove's costume looks cheap. Now, having said all of that, I am still going to give this show a chance. Now, don't get me wrong, the character design for everyone except Robin still looks like shit, and they all don't seem to be acting like their usual selves, especially with this little tidbit of dialogue.
Fuck Batman.
But the reason I changed my mind and decided to give this show a chance is because I found out that Geoff Johns is involved with it. So if Geoff Johns, who actually writes several amazing DC comics and is essentially the Kevin Feige of DC, is playing a big part in this show, then I am going to give him the benefit of a doubt. He isn't mindless and incompetent like Warner Brothers. He is behind the first season of The Flash, which is my #1 favorite live-action superhero TV show. And he also produced Wonder Woman and also worked on Shazam and Aquaman, both of which look very promising. So if Geoff Johns is behind this, then I'm going to give this show a chance. He, after all, is the person that Warner Brothers should have hired to put together the DC universe, but they didn't. Geoff Johns also wouldn't get Robin to insult Batman unless it would genuinely play a part in the story. So because of Geoff Johns' involvement, I am going to give the show a chance and assume that the trailer might be doing the show a disservice. I will need to watch the show to find out for sure. And then I will make a versus video and compare it to the first season of the original TV show. So yeah, sound off below with your thoughts on this new Titans show and let me know if you are willing to have faith in it after knowing that Geoff Johns is playing a big part in it. Also, as I was about to make this video, I just heard that Teen Titans Season 6 might be happening. Warner Brothers must really want as much content as they can get for their new streaming service. So, awesome. That's about the only good thing with these streaming services. We are getting shows like Star Wars The Clone Wars, Young Justice, and now Teen Titans back. For how long? I don't know, but even if it's just for one more season, I am glad that they are going to at least get their well-deserved conclusions. So on that note, let me know what you think of the live-action Titans show, and then let me know what you think of the news that Teen Titans will possibly come back for Season 6, and I will catch all of you next time. Take care.